As a busy mom and dairy farmer, I'm always looking for ways to support my family's health as well as my own, and I absolutely love Wonder Cow Colostrum. It's packed with essential nutrients, great for supporting gut health, boosts immunity, and promotes overall wellness. Whether it's for me, my kids, or anyone looking to stay strong and healthy, Wonder Cow is my go-to daily supplement. I've been taking it for a year now, and it is irreplaceable in my daily routine. If you want to experience the amazing benefits of colostrum too, you can use my special code DairyGalVal at checkout for a discount. Give Wonder Cow a try and you will definitely feel the difference. Hey Dairy Hour listeners, if you're enjoying this show, leaving a review is the best way to help us grow and reach more people. Plus, I've got a little thank you for you. Snap a screenshot of your review, message it to me at DairyGalVal, and I will be sure to send some fun Dairy Hour stickers your way. Thanks for supporting the podcast, and I cannot wait to mail you some swag. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Dairy Hour podcast. I'm your host, Val Lavigne, and I am joined today by Andrea Haines. Andrea, how are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
Very good, thanks. So I was just hoping you could start off by telling us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I am from Maryland. I'm on the East Coast here, and I live on a family dairy farm, but my main role is doing agriculture photography and some journalism. So I spend a lot of my days helping out at the farm when they need help, kind of part-time, but my main job is kind of traveling around and doing a lot of local promotions through photojournalism.
Awesome. I love it. And your photos are beautiful. I've been doing a little stalkings.
Thank you.
That's always fun. Awesome. I guess, do you want to tell us a little bit about the dairy farm?
Sure. So it's my in-laws' farm. My husband's name is Brett Haynes, and we have one son who's 11. He helps out, when he can, but we live in Tawnytown, Maryland, and that's in Carroll County. And it's a Holstein and Jersey farm, and we actually have one brown Swiss too.
The signature Swiss in the herd, yes.
Right.
Awesome. About how many are you milking?
So we are downsizing a bit. We have about 30 head milking right now, but we also have some animals that we show. We predominantly show a lot of our Jerseys and a few of our Holsteins, but we also run a 4-H leasing program through our farm. So we have a lot of those participants who come and work with their calves, and we do through the summer. It's a lot of fun.
I love it. And it's so great of you guys to be giving back to the community and allowing the 4-H kids to get a handle on some calves and get that experience in agriculture that they may not be able to get other places with everybody being so far removed. So that's really awesome. Thank you for doing that for our community.
Sure.
And so I want to bounce back and talk about, where did you grow up? What did your parents do? What kind of things did you do as a kid?
Sure. So I grew up in the county next door, so Frederick County, same state. And I grew up on a dairy farm. My father and mother were from Liberty Town. That's where I grew up. And it was like a quaint little small town. One traffic light kind of a town. And then they had Holsteins and Jerseys as well. My dad started incorporating more Jerseys into the herd the older I got. We also did 4-H and participated in FFA, and those were my projects growing up. But we fast forward, retired the farm when I was graduating high school. And, unfortunately that it was very sad, but, going into college, I was thinking, well, what do I want to do? Because I can't really go back to the farm. And so that kind of segued me into thinking out of the box into, what I could potentially have as a career path. And I went to Delaware Valley College, but now it's university in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, through dairy science and a minor in communications. And that kind of how everything spiraled off there.
So when you were growing up, before the farm was sold, was that something that you were kind of thinking that you were going to do, or were you not sure still at that point?
It was kind of a mixed bag because I was a little bit younger. I did have the intention, I had that interest there in pursuing being a farmer. I knew I definitely wanted to do something within the agriculture realm. So whether it was dairy or, ag education, something like that, I wanted to pursue. Some of the roles that I had played on the farm, I mostly worked with the animals. I'm the oldest of four, and my siblings, there's two boys, two girls. The boys did a lot with the machinery and crops and things like that. And then I helped a lot with the milking and cattle care and those types of things. So I even thought, went through the whole thing of like, do I want to be a vet? Do I want to, work in extension? All those things that you think about when you're young.
A couple jobs that you think that you can do with a degree in dairy. There's
Yeah, yeah.
there's so many jobs, but when you're a kid, it's just like, nope, you can go be a dairy farmer or you can be a.
Right. That's true.
So I love that you went in and you kind of had that experience and went to an ag college. So talk about how did you make out through college and what did you jump into right when you got out of college?
Sure. So, like I said, I went to Del Val, and a lot of the colleges that surround, we have like Virginia Tech, we have University of Maryland, a lot of pretty strong ag related colleges. So I toured a lot of different kind of options, and Del Val seemed to be the right fit for me. I'm a very hands-on learner, and their academic way of teaching was just that, hands-on, smaller classrooms. So I went with that. They also had a dairy that was on campus, and I did a lot of my like kind of work career through college at the dairy. And then also they have a laboratory that, I worked at as well. Dairy judging was one of the first things I jumped into when we went. I started actually at community college, and then I went on to my second year into transferring into the four-year college. And it did save quite a bit of money. And it also kind of helped me get through those like basic classes. But it was a nice opportunity to just kind of like some of the kids that I knew were going there. I had known already through 4-H and FFA. So just kind of jumped right in that second year. Did the dairy judging, worked at the dairy, and a lot of the courses were geared towards dairy. It wasn't until like my junior year I decided I was like, I really wanted to do this communications thing. So I added a minor. And that was really fun for me because I love telling like everyone's story. I love being able to not necessarily in a photography realm or mind frame at that point, but more journalism. And then I did find an internship through Farm Shine newspaper. It's based out of Pennsylvania. But having that internship and being able to work with that editor and his staff was really kind of a building block for me in the career choice.
Definitely helps you get that hands-on real world experience. And it's always great when you have someone really great to learn from and get that experience. So that's a really great opportunity. So how long were you at Farm Shine for?
So I interned for him for 2 summers and learned a ton. He actually his name is Dieter Krieg, and he is German. He's from Germany and came over and started his own business. So that was completely inspiring in itself. But he started out using, and I'm going to date myself saying this, but wax layouts where you'd run it through the wax machine and stick it to the print, nothing really digital at that point in time. And then just building those connections, going with him to meetings and to covering events. A lot of my college experience was like learning how to learn and learning how to kind of communicate with others and really just listen to their stories. So it was a great experience. And I still, throughout, even after graduating college, did some reporting and stories for him even then.
So when you graduated college, then where did life lead you to?
Sure. So after college, I ended up coming back home to Maryland. I actually met my husband in college. Well, I'll back up a little bit. I met him in 4-H through dairy judging, but we started dating in college. And so we ended up getting married a couple years after college. And he's also, he works in dairy cattle genetics. So that was kind of his realm. While we were kind of still dating or engaged, I started working at a veterinary hospital, thinking, okay, well, maybe because they have large animal practice as well. Working as a receptionist, they would pull me to go on a lot of farm calls just because I had the large animal experience. And it was a lot of fun to go and see farms and things like that. And I've always been, my grandfather always really loved going to farms and like local meetings. And I would, when he wasn't able to drive, like drive him around, and he'd tell me the stories of, so and so is here, or this used to be a field, So that was quite fun. After a couple of years of working there, I pursued a job with the Maryland Department of Agriculture, working for their food safety department. And that was quite different. It wasn't dairy related at all. So my role was egg grading and inspection, meat grading, and a little bit of like country of origin labeling reviewing. So that was a really neat experience.
That's a major switch out from
Right.
being a receptionist at a vet's office and going on calls with the vet.
Right.
But I'm sure that that's a really great experience that's taught you a lot, and it definitely probably opened your eyes to different parts of agriculture besides just dairy.
It did. It was a very eye-opening experience as far as learning the different types of industries within that one industry of ag, the blanket of ag. I think for me, it also taught me how to kind of just be forceful, but not in a way of like communicating if you have something like an issue, or if you see something not correct, have a voice, go change that. And working together with people, I think having in similarity to the receptionist job, you have to have kind of a way to work with people, and that really helped me learn those skills.
Awesome. And then where did you go after that?
So after that, my husband and I moved to Wisconsin. We were there for about 5 years. Yeah, his job took him there, and I went along with him. And I was like, well, this is cool. It's, you think about World Dairy Expo being there, the dairy state, and cheese curds and all the good things. So we ended up moving out there. And then it wasn't too far after that, I started working for Horde's Dairymen as their editorial coordinator. And that role was amazing. As a judging youth, you go there and do a tour, and you kind of get to see Fort Atkinson and NASCO and all the things around it. And so it was kind of like one of those goals for me. I'm like, this is really cool. I'm working in a very historic place in itself. Being the editorial coordinator was fun. It was kind of nice to be like a liaison between like the editorial department, the art department, publishing, marketing. So I kind of got a little bit of piece of every different section that was working within there. And it was nice to be able to use those skills that I learned previously working with people in that position. So it was a lot of fun.
And then I'm guessing that you didn't stay in Wisconsin, seeing as you're in Maryland now.
Right. So we stayed there for about 5 years. And like most people who want to start a family, we started a family and our son was born. We stayed for about a year there. And then I grew up around my grandparents, and I felt like, it might be the time to move back to Maryland and be around more family and have my child experience how I grew up on the farm. And I think that in itself is kind of irreplaceable, having those types of experiences. So we ended up moving back home, and we lived actually on my family farm for a couple years until we built a house on the property we're on now at my husband's, parents' location. So it's very nice where my son has timed it. We're 3 minutes down the road to, go see mom and pap, and we're not terribly far away from my parents either. Poppy and Meemaw, we're about 20 minutes away. So we're a pretty good family location.
Awesome. It's always great to have that supportive family around you, especially when you have a young or a child, but a young child at that. It's always nice to have the extra help and the extra sets of hands to raise a child, and definitely agree with you that there's no better spot to raise a child than on
Absolutely.
farm.
I
I get
I feel
that.
like a lot of my success can be kind of related to my support systems. My husband's incredibly supportive, and my family is incredibly supportive, and someone's around to help with my son, or if we need to do something. We also have very it's not like we live on a compound, but we have a lot of cousins and aunts and uncles that live kind of close by as well. So, and we kind of trade off too. He doesn't have any siblings, but like his cousins are like his siblings. And so we, have the little ones come here and trade off going to 4-H and things like that. So it's a lot of fun. I wouldn't have had it any other way.
And then career wise, what did you do when you moved back to Maryland?
Sure. So career wise, just to kind of recap, I at Hordes Dairyman worked really close with their editorial department, but also their art department. And that's kind of what inspired me to begin the photography, because I feel like, with a story, I've always taken pictures to go with the story, but never really honed my skills in the photography department. And so while I was in Wisconsin, I took some continuing education classes at the University of Wisconsin there. And then the art director was very kind in like letting me practice with him, giving me tips and things like that. And we still have a good working relationship today. So with that support of family, I decided to start my own business. How with any entrepreneur, you start with your own family and, test out, hey, you want to come over? I'll take some pictures. And it kind of like started through social media. A lot of my friends were like, oh, hey, those are the kind of pictures I would really like. They're on the farm. And it wasn't until later that I started to find my niche. I did start out, doing a lot of families. Once I got a little bit more experience, I did weddings even. And I still always had in the back of my mind, like doing ag photos, and just having that farm experience. I think a lot more people reached out because of that.
Yeah, it definitely, even me getting branding photos and whatnot, it's definitely easier for me to have someone come to the farm to do my branding photos that has experience with, dairy and how things roll and all the different things. And even just being safer on the farm because, you take someone who's never been around cows before, taking them out in the freestall to take pictures isn't really, it doesn't go over as easily, or they're just not so sure how to react to the cows, and the cows understand that they're not so comfortable. So then it's kind of a, I don't know, kind of deal.
Yeah.
But I love that. And I, I love seeing families get their pictures taken on their farms, and, it's who they are. So going to a photo studio to get family pictures is not really
Right.
on point for them. So it's
Right.
nice to be able to take pictures of them where they're comfortable and where they're happy placing.
Absolutely. And we've even had it where, it's busy season a lot of times in, we'll say, the summer. And I've had, dads hop out of tractors, run, do a photo shoot, and then hop back in the tractor before just to get it done. And it doesn't really matter necessarily what they're wearing, like, so to speak, like, because it's their livelihood. That is the real them. And I'm there to really just capture that. I love doing, my favorite is like candid photography. So usually when I arrive at a place, I'll be like, just give me a tour, Again, saying I'm comfortable on a farm. I think that speaks for itself too, because there is, like we were talking before about, it's the season is mud season, and while it's a reality, on a farm sometimes, like not everything is super clean, or it rained the day before, and you got muddy tires and things. So you got to really think about like what angles you're taking as far as pictures go, and just really having that in mind, especially if you're doing branding photography too.
100%. And, sometimes you have to show the harsh realities, even though I try to plan it for a nice day, a prettier season, because things aren't overly pretty right at the moment. And
Right.
I don't want to look at pictures of them. So I get to
Exactly.
live it. I don't want to look at pictures of it too. So I get that.
Yeah.
So how involved are you on the dairy itself, or are you full time just doing pictures? at this point, or how does that work?
I consider myself full-time. That's definitely the priority for my photo business. But I do, when I am not scheduled, go to the farm a lot. I will help milk. I will help feed calves and kind of break animals to lead and, do those kind of odd kind of things that need to get done if I'm able to, because we live so close. And honestly, it's kind of nice as like a stress relief too. That sounds kind of weird, but just being around the animals, they don't complain. They don't, they're just there. And I grew up loving that. So it's nice just to be there. Yeah.
Yes. It's like that calm that comes over you. Like when
Yeah.
I'm just having a stressful day, I go up in the freestall when there's no one around in the middle of the day. There's that little time in the middle of the day or in
Right.
the early evening, and I go up there and it's just quiet. You
Yeah.
can hear the cows chewing, and it's just, that's the most peaceful place ever to be, in my
Absolutely.
opinion.
Yeah. And like I think just nowadays too, like I'm not always out shooting photos. I have a lot of editing work. So it is kind of nice to just get away from the computer and let my eyes take a break and go do something else and come back. So it's quite helpful. Yeah.
Definitely. A nice recharge, reset, refresh.
Yeah.
Needed for everybody. And it's better
Absolutely.
done with cows around.
That's
So.
right. Who doesn't love cows?
Cows make everything better for the most part. Till there's a problem, then they're like, never mind.
Right.
I made a mistake. I need to go back. Sorry.
Right. We all have those days.
Oh, I love it. Yes. So that's awesome. And I wish you, continued success in your photography business. Like I said, your pictures are gorgeous. And I mean, that's like living the dream, getting to take pictures of different people and their personalities and, their farms and doing things like that. So that's wonderful. I'm jealous.
Thank you.
That would be a really fun thing to do. And learning to tell a picture story through photos is also an art within itself. So that's
Right.
also really exciting.
It's always been really nice to just kind of be able to kind of be there and do like the family photos too. But now I'm getting more into commercial type agriculture photography, and like I do images for our local co-op, Farm Credit, and those companies have been reaching out more because just with the stock photography, and also, if you have we'll say a day that you need a photo shoot done, it's nice because I think whether you're looking at an ag based audience or you're looking at a consumer based audience, a lot of that is similar in itself. So I can capture a lot of different candid opportunities when I'm out at a location. So it's a nice balance. I've started to really love doing those two in my niche. So it's great.
Awesome. I love it. At this point, I love to move into some fun rapid fire questions just to get to know you a little bit better.
Sure.
And I've got a good first one for you because you said you lived in Wisconsin. So now I have to ask, fresh cheese curds or fried cheese curds?
I'm gonna have to say fried. Just I like the fried. I love Culver's too.
Yes, you're speaking my language. Culver's is the best.
Yes.
And you guys don't have any Culver's near you either, do you?
No. So my aunt, we're big Orioles fans. Aunt went down to Florida for the spring training, and they have one down there. And I was like, man, bring me some cheese curds home. Yeah.
Bring me all the Culver's.
Right.
Yes. So I went to visit my grandparents in Florida over the winter, and we went to Culver's because I cannot go to Florida and not
Exactly.
go Culver's. So I took a picture of my meal and posted it to my Instagram and tagged Culver's. And I was like, this is the best day ever because I'm having Culver's. I look forward to this. And they messaged me back. And they were doing random acts of kindness, giveaways. And they're like, oh, what's your address? We just want to mail you a little something. So I'm like, oh, super. They're going to mail me a pencil or a sticker. Super. Right. I'm all excited I'm going to get a Culver's sticker or something. Well, I get this box in the mail, and it's got this bag. It's got a sweatshirt. It's got a snow globe, pens, all sorts of stuff, a little gift card. And the best thing in there, a vanilla custard scented candle. It is heaven.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
The coolest. Oh my gosh. I was jumping up and down because I was like, what is this box that I got? I don't remember ordering anything.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just going to get a little envelope from Culver's. And I opened it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the best day ever. Anyways, shout out to Culver's for being the best ever.
Yeah, they're
And always
totally
supporting
awesome.
farmers. And
That's exactly right.
vanilla custard scented candles, just in
So
case
good.
anyone's curious. So I'm glad that I found a fellow Culver's fan
Yay.
because butter burgers, cheese curds, and custard are life. So
They are.
with that
Truly.
being said, are you coffee or tea?
I tend to go with coffee, but I really love sweet tea, especially in the summertime. And just sit out on the
Sweet
porch
tea.
and listen to our peep frogs.
Nothing says country like sipping sweet tea on the front porch.
Great.
Yeah, I love it. And how about your favorite childhood memory on the farm?
Oh my goodness. Let's see here. I think my favorite childhood memory, and maybe this is where I get my love for photos. My mom would always, like, for Christmas, would drag us out, all four of us kids, and ask us to pick one animal to take a photo with. And she'd dress us up in like these Santa hats and things. And it was a tradition like we continually did each year to put on our Christmas cards. So farm related, yeah, I think that's probably one of my favorite memories.
Now, do you do this to your son now?
I do.
Atta girl. I
Yeah.
was going to say, decisions have been made and I need to know that they were the right decisions.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a long standing tradition now.
And does he roll your eyes at you like my girls would? They'd be like, Mom, and they'd roll their eyes at me.
He actually
learns
doesn't
to go
to that stage yet. I'm counting my blessings on that. He knows, I think just because of the nature of what I do, he's like, okay, Mom, yeah. He's not completely fed up with me yet with that. Yeah.
See, now you got lucky because I mean, I'm not a photographer by any means. I just, take pictures and record stuff for content or whatever it may be. But I get do you always have to be taking pictures, Mom? Even special occasions. I'm like, I want pictures to be able to remember this occasion. Like,
right.
Just think, you could have been born when there wasn't these really nice cell phone cameras and you're like, you don't have all these great pictures. Yeah. So when you get older, you're going to be able to look back and be like, oh yeah, remember that day? Yeah. And they don't get
It's so fun to look back. It's so fun to look back at pictures. I love old pictures and just not even like seeing people, but like the styles and like who wore their hair, like that, it's fun.
Yes. I'm trying to think of what picture it was. There was recently a picture. You know what it was? It was a puzzle I was doing because I love to puzzle in the winter.
Yes, me too.
I need to keep my brain occupied at all times. Yeah. So we got to do things. But anyways, it was an old puzzle because my grandparents' attic is filled with puzzles. When I say filled with puzzles, I mean like hundreds, 1,000, whatever puzzles. Yeah. And they're all older. So there's a lot from like the 60s, 70s, early 80s. Yeah. And we were doing one and there was a car in it. And I was like, look, guys, that's what cars used to look like. And they're looking, that's the weirdest looking car I have ever seen. And I was just dying. I was like, yep, times have changed. Yeah. Like, yeah, they were just like, that's what people drove back then. And I was like, yeah, that was like a nice car back then. And they were like, okay, sure, why not?
It's so funny. We were looking at old pictures, and a lot of these kids with our leasing program and some of the old photos, like I remember showing in like a paper hat and a skirt, like a white skirt. And just the morbid look of some of these girls are like, what? You had to show in a skirt? And I'm like, yeah, we had to, back then. And it just makes you feel really old. It's a good time looking through it all. It's a good laugh.
It is. I love old pictures. And as much as they complain to me about taking pictures, when Facebook memories come up every day, they ask me if there's any good memories. So I just want to point that out to them. Like, you complain about me taking the pictures, yet you want to look at the memories. So
they love it.
Choose your evil, kids.
Right.
Just let me take my pictures and leave me be. That's all I want. And smile, darn it. Don't look like you're going to kill me. Smile.
Right. Yeah.
Or you get the eye roll. The eye roll's a real good time too. You might not get that as much not having girls. Yeah. Those girls, their eye rolls are on point. I don't know where they got that from. If you can't pick up my sarcasm. Oh, I love it. What is your favorite hobby besides taking pictures or showing cows? Because we've already like, what's your favorite hobby?
I love being outside and doing gardening. I don't necessarily have a vegetable garden or anything, but flowers are fun. I think that's also another just like mental release. You can go and make something look pretty. Mom and my grandmother my grandmother had a really green thumb, and that has been inherited by my mom, and I'm trying to hold up that, tradition as well the best I can, but it is a lot of fun. I have some containers that I've been able to plant and make look pretty, and it's nice. I love it. I love making different colors and meshing different plants together.
Awesome. See, that's a good hobby. I love to garden, but my problem is that we don't have a great garden season here in New York,
Mhm.
but I do really well and I get that garden in and it's really awesome. And I do so good on it for a little while. And then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. And then it goes to crap real
Yeah.
fast.
That's 100% why I don't have like a vegetable garden. Like the weeds would take over. We live
Yeah.
close to a woods, so it's like the deer would just be having a smorgasbord. Yeah.
Yes. Snack time. It's awful. But so a couple years ago, I gave up on having a big vegetable garden. I have a couple small flower boxes in front of my house, and that is it. And now my mother has decided that she's going to garden a lot, who also gets really busy, but that's besides the point. She's currently starting all sorts of seeds in her greenhouse, that she's got a little greenhouse now. She's
Nice.
starting all sorts of seeds to plant in the garden. And I'm like, it's going to get busy and it's all going to go to heck, but whatever. Do what you want to do. That's up to you.
Whatever makes you happy,
Putting all this work into starting them and then putting them in the ground and they all get covered in weeds, whatever. If it makes you happy, go for it.
She tried.
What kind of board game player are you? Are you a happy board game player or are you super competitive?
I'd say I'm a happy board game player. It's fun. I like to laugh and I like to see the family or whoever I'm playing with have a good times. I tend to do a lot of board games with our family if we're together for Easter or whatnot holidays. And my brother-in-law, he's kind of like my little brother, but I just tend to bother the crap out of him with puns and things like that. So just yeah, we have a good time. I'm a happy one.
Like Monopoly, I get pretty cutthroat at, but we've been playing cards. It's called Play Nine. It's kind of like a version of golf, but we've taught all three of my kids can play it. So we get big games of that going. And I'm happy to see my kids succeed. Like I'm okay.
Yeah.
I try to be competitive, but I'm not a sore loser kind of person when it comes to like how it all shakes out. But usually it ends up in one of the kids getting mad and throwing their cards down. And I'm like, it's a game. Who cares if you lose? Who cares if you win? Just have fun.
Yeah.
Can't do that, can
we? Yeah. My husband, you would be like the main a competitor type, and we would love like card games. So Uno is like a big one in our family, and we goad each other and just pick fun. It's just good. It's good old fashioned fun.
You should get yourself Play Nine. You can get it on Amazon. It's a good game.
Okay.
Play Nine.
I'll have to look.
It's fun. A lot of fun. But it is, you can play super competitively and you can like really try to, screw people over that are next to you.
That sounds fun.
You could do that. Yes. And it's funny to see people's different personalities and how like they won't throw a card down, even if it's killing their score. They will not put it down because they do not want that next person to get it and do well with it. And they will hold on to it till the bitter end. People get super competitive, or there's people that are just like, here, you can have it. Like, I don't need.
Right. Yeah.
Play Nine. It's a good game. Good times. Good times. Oh, what's your favorite comfort food besides cheese curds from Culture?
I know. I would have to say ice cream. I like different types of flavors. I'm more of a soft serve ice cream person. We have a really good kind of just general area where we have a lot of creameries around. And so it's a lot of fun to see the different products and like how they've decorated I'm like such a nerd, but their marketing. And so I love just going to see that in itself. And then the ice cream's like a bonus, but that's my go-to. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm an ice cream addict. It's fine.
Yeah.
Soft serve, hard ice cream, whatever it is. I love ice cream. I will very rarely turn down ice cream.
Do you call your sprinkles Jimmies or sprinkles?
Sprinkles.
See, we're Jimmies, but we
Just
have a lot of mixture here.
So I live very close to Vermont. And do you know what they call soft serve in Vermont? They're creamies.
Really?
So you
I've never
go
heard
and you
that.
drive through Vermont and everyone's got maple creamies.
That's one state I have not been to. I want to. So maybe I'll get to experience that.
If you're road tripping, let me know. You'll go
Yeah.
right by my house going there. So
Oh, sweet. All right. We'll go get a creamy
good old road
together.
trip to Vermont. Yes, we can go get a creamy together.
Yeah.
Or we could just get soft serve in New York and call it a day.
Yeah.
Love it. So now that we're on the topic of travel,
Mhm.
favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Love traveling. Man, I am a national park kind of a person. So my favorite, I'd say, is Yellowstone and the Grand Teton area. I love just being out west and having that kind of mood. You know, it's pretty out there, very serene. You get to see animals you don't typically see from the East Coast. And I was out there at a photo workshop and we did a lot of ranch photography and just met people out there. Just the way of life is so much, like, I don't want to say easier because it's definitely not easier, but a lot more easy paced, I guess, mentally speaking, but just nice. And I want to go back.
Yeah, I've been to Yellowstone before. I've not been to the Tetons yet. Have you been to Zion yet?
I've not been to Zion. That's one on my bucket list for sure.
Zion is beautiful. My husband used to be a firefighter in Utah for forest fires, and one of his best friends and him were both out there for 9 months, maybe. And so his friend's wife and I surprised them with plane tickets back to Utah, not a couple years ago. It was more years ago than just a couple at this point. But anyways, so we surprised them with tickets back to Utah and we did some stuff around Salt Lake and then we went down into Zion and did some hiking through there and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Except if you want to learn that you're scared of heights and you don't think you're scared of heights, you go climb up the cliffs of Zion and then you're like, oh crap. And then you can't get back down, but it's fine. We all lived.
My husband is afraid of heights and he actually another place that I really love, like out of the country, is Switzerland. That was a bucket list thing for me. His company works out of there. And man, I had to drive because some of the overlooks were like right there. And he's like, oh, okay, we're going. I'm not really worried. He's
like, I'm going to shut my eyes and hope I wake up and we're
exactly
somewhere's on flat ground. Yes. So duly noted for when I visit Switzerland that the overlooks can be interesting.
Yep.
So that's, yeah. And I get car sick too. So yeah, Dramamine.
Definitely. Yeah.
So with that being said, if someone came to you and said, hey, you're taking a trip, unlimited money, like go, where are you going?
Switzerland.
The ultimate bucket list.
I would go back to Switzerland. I feel like there's a lot there that I mean, I saw a lot, but there's so much more to explore there. And the cattle and things are there. It's so funny. I feel like my husband and I's lives revolve around cows. And, our first date was the cow. We got engaged at Expo, like our date nights around, it's just the theme. So and
when you go on vacation, you go see cows. Yes.
It's a common.
It's a dairy farmer thing. Yes.
Right. Yeah. So Switzerland is definitely a lot of fun. It's so pretty. So pretty there. So yeah. I'd probably go back.
I love it. I'm going back to Switzerland. Yeah. Bucket list. Back to Switzerland. Oh, I love it. That's awesome. I love to ask a deeper thought question to my guests that was left by a previous guest.
Okay.
And your question is, what farm chore do you think gives you the most character and why?
Character. Boy. Have you ever, I don't know if I'm quoting it correctly, but have you ever heard those quotes where like you're working with cattle and like you don't really know a person until you work with cattle or move cows?
Yes, until you work cows with them. Yes.
Right. I think that probably is really character building because you can learn a lot about a person, but you're like, I still love you, I
want to strangle you.
Right. Just having that patience, learning that character building trait is definitely something. Moving cattle, I'd say that.
Moving cattle will definitely bring out the best and the worst of people.
Right. Exactly.
Sometimes at the same time.
Yes.
I love you, but I swear to God, if you let that cow by you one more time.
Right. Yeah. And we're all guilty of it. I don't care how good you think you are. We're all guilty of it.
Yes. Agreed. And it takes a good relationship to be able to work cows and still talk at the end of it. So
that's true. Yeah.
Gotta work hard on those relationships.
Right.
Oh, so what quote did you bring us today that inspires you to do big things?
Mine that I always come back to is be the reason someone smiles today. And I think that just kind of speaks for itself because like you can take it multiple ways, but I always try to picture, my day might be different from someone else's, and you never know what someone's going through. So, just bringing a little bit of joy to them can go a long, long way. And I love that. And plus, it goes along with kind of what I do. It's kind of ironic in a way, you go and you do photos and it's not just telling someone to smile, but it's forming those relationships with those people as well and making them feel comfortable and safe in that environment. And I love that quote.
That's definitely a quote that I go to often as well, because you're right. You never know what someone is going through, and that smile to them could make their whole day.
Absolutely.
And just that little extension of kindness is sometimes it may seem like a small gesture for you, but to that person, it could be, that one thing that keeps them holding on to hope. And that's amazing. So
it is.
I love that. And that's definitely one of my favorites as well. So
thank you.
Awesome. So Andrea, where can people find you and see your beautiful artwork, or even book you if they're local or in Switzerland? She's looking for jobs. If you're from Switzerland, she would like to come photograph your cows. So
I'm on social media. I'm on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn through ALH Word and Image. I should have picked a shorter name, but that's me. And then the website, I have a contact form, and that is actually the best way to reach me. It'll give me a little bit of background information as to what you want accomplished through photos, and that is www.wordandimage.com.
And I will be sure to put those in the show notes for those of you that are interested in checking out her work, booking her, doing all of the things. Or even if you can't book her, just give her the support, especially on social media, because every click, like, comment, all of that stuff is always really great for small businesses to be seen. So with that being said, Andrea, thank you so much for joining me. I had so much fun hearing about your story and the different things in your life that you've had the great experiences to do. We could just talk all day about traveling. So there's that, because I too have the travel bug, but
awesome.
Here we are. And if you loved this podcast, please be sure to share with a friend, tag a friend. Be sure to leave us a rating on your favorite podcast platform and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. And with that being said, thank you all for listening. Have a great week, and we will talk to you next time.
Thank you.